Welcome to the series of knowledge enhancement sessions. We are here for our next topic, UPI as a soft power, India's digital revolution. In the series of these sessions, I'm trying and covering multiple areas. Today, I'm moving towards the things which we have never thought about it, that a country of a 142 crore people will going to accept the digital payment like a very small thing. And this is happening currently, being Indian been currently, like country like India is already been revolutionized in the payment system, and it is helping India's one of the biggest problem to come down as an corruption. So today we will be keeping a bit broader perspective when it comes to the soft power. It is actually what world see it as a what world as what exactly the world see this as this technology. We'll be talking about the global context on the UPI, and the entire discussion would be on the basis of that. So let us start our discussion. Think on this. You are landed in Paris, tired for a long flight. You buy a coffee near Eiffel Tower, scan a QR code, and instantly pay through UPI. No card, no currency exchange, no confusion. The French barista looks at your phone, smiles, and says, "That's India." India is that tiny moment you realize something extraordinary. India's influencer is no longer just about yoga, Bollywood, or curry. It's about something invincible yet powerful payment system born in India, quietly reshaping the world economy. That's the story of UPI, India's slanthiest soft power export to the world. And today we are going to explore how UPI is transforming from domestic tool to a weapon of global influence. So let us try and understand what exactly uh, we are will be moving towards what exactly the UPI is. So first of all, let us ground ourselves. UPI is nothing but Unified Payment Interface. It is a system launched in 2016 by a company, NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, which allows user to link multiple bank account to a single mobile app. In simple terms, UPI turn your smartphone into a bank branch. It enables instant real-time money transfer 24 into 7 without needing a credit card or a check or a long queues. To put it in a scale, in just few years, UPI grow from processing 21 million transaction a month in 2017 to over 20 billion transaction in the last month itself. That is more than the population of the planet. Can you imagine this? In fact, UPI today handles almost half of the world's real-time digital payments. So this is a phenomenal data I have tried and shared you. And the scalability of UPI is so vast currently that most of the country are planning to expand this entire things. So let us move to the next contest on how UPI can be a game changer for India. It is no confined to India itself. It is gone global. It's already live in 7 countries, including the UAE, the Singapore, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, and the example I took on France. In France, you can now use UPI to buy a ticket in at the Eiffel Tower, thanks to NPCI's tie-up with the Lira network. In the UAE, UPI is integrated with NeoPay and the Lulu Group, the famous Lulu Group from Kerala, outlets boosting patronage for Indian diaspora. India and Singapore have linked UPI with PayNow, making cross-border remittance faster and cheaper. And under the BRICS framework, India is pushing for UPI adoption as a common payment standard, specifically to promote financial inclusion and reduce resilience on Western payment network. So This entire context make UPI is not just about money transfer, it's about building bridges across the border. So guys, please compare on the context that UPI has that capacity to make an alternative payment system considering the current challenging world, specifically the tariff world, where the uncertainties are going around. We have seen how the US and the Western world put up a section or sanctions on Russia and other important countries about the payment. UPI becomes one of the major alternative, specifically those countries who are doing trade with us. So this makes the UPI one of the global phenomena currently. Now, UPI as a soft power, why we have given the name as a soft power? Let us deep dive into that particular aspect also. Traditionally, soft power means culture, Indian culture, the yoga, the Ayurveda, Bollywood, cuisines, Indian masales. But in 21st century, the technology itself is a culture. Technology prowess and goodwill. UPI shows India's leading in creating inclusive, low-cost digital infrastructure. Almost in India, we are paying 0 rupees for transacting anything. The earn that earns India's admiration and specifically from the developing nations. Global standard setters by getting countries like France, UAE, and Singapore to adopt UPI. India is setting a benchmark for digital payment, challenging Western model like Visa and MasterCard, which have a duopoly in their business itself. And of course, the tangible and the direct influence, unlike the forms on or food, UPI is plugged into economic backbone of other nation. Every transaction is a reminder of Indian innovation. That can be one of the most significant thing. Most importantly, it could turn into democratic values. UPI is cheap, open, and accessible. It is a digital product aligned with India's democratic ethos. Financial inclusion for all, and it serves the purpose. In short, UPI is not just a software, it's a diplomacy coded in QR code. This isn't just a payment innovation, this is India's creating a blueprint for the future of money. But yes, there are certain challenges and limitations. So let us deep dive into the challenges and limitations of the UPI. As we know, there is no foolproof things like any. So we need to be more updated on the negative sides of it, where what could be the challenges or what could be the limitations of the same technology could happen. So UPI is still adopted in handful of countries. It is not still reached to the global. Only 7 I have given the name. Compared to Visa and MasterCard is globally dominated. These are the duopoly of their world. So regulatory resistance is another major fear that could be there. Who will going to regulate it? That can be the country may hesitate to let foreign payment system dominate their domestic market. So other country may not allow UPI to become that. And then currency conversation is another issue because on a regular basis it settled rupee with the local currency, and then the conversion may create a tension, and every single day that cannot be possible. Another major issue on the data and the privacy, we have seen this is one of the major global issue for many things. But for UPI also, who will going to control this transaction data? Who is to where the data will be stored? Means the data center will be where? And these are the sensitive questions that we need to really ask. And of course, the network resistance, global giant like Visa, MasterCard, PayPal see UPI as a competitor. Lobbying may slow adoptions. They may not ask, they may not accept, they may not like UPI to get been becoming a global player. And of course, the trust and culture can be another reason. In some countries, cash still rules. Convincing them to leapfrog straight into QR based payment will take time. Let's think beyond the obvious. Okay, let's think beyond the obvious. So what if UPI become not just a payment system, but a tool of economic diplomacy? Okay, so let us move to the beyond the payment system. Let us move on to the main important area that it. Imagine India tackling bilateral trade with UAE in Bukun via UPI, reducing the dependence on the dollar. Imagine South Asia and African building UPI-like system with Indian L linked to India rails. India become the digital hub of the global South. And under BRICS, UPI could be the backbone of the alternative financial architecture, offering countries a big tooth with bypass expensive vested system. So diaspora power, at 30 million Indians adopted, UPI can become the default remittance challenge, lowering the cost and cementing the Indians' influence. This is what I call soft power, not just movie and music, but money itself is the soft power. And what could be the way forward? Post the policy and strategy of and important. Do we make UPI the global standard? So yes, expand it gradually. Start with tourist-heavy corridors, the country which are tourist have. Then you can reach to the diaspora hubs. Eiffel Tower was step one, more landmark, more adoptions. Yes, bilateral trade agreement, create formal corridor where UPI settle trade in local currency or rupee. Global partnership with BRICS, G20, SCOs to push UPI as a model. And finally, most importantly, a merchant incentive subsidize POs adoptions abroad and awareness about the key things. We need to work on the legal framework also, ensure the strong consumer protection, data sharing agreement, and dispute redressal abroad. And not last but not the least, about the infrastructure export, help other nations build their own UPI clones, then only we can interlink it with the actual things. That's the digital diplomacy at work. If done it right, UPI could digital finance what Bollywood is to entertain. India's global calling card. India has ideas India has exported zero in mathematics, yoga for the soul. Now the UPI, India is exporting something new, the idea of money without borders. And if yoga once shaped the world's spiritual fabric, perhaps UPI will shape the world's financial one. This is not just a payment revolution, it is India's soft power in motion. I am sure you must have understood the variance of this entire discussion. And if you have any queries, you have any problems on understanding any terminology, would love to hear from you in the comment box. And most importantly, please subscribe and make sure that you can like the button so we can come up with certain more issues on that. Thank you so much. God bless you. All the best.